What's up, Kirk students? We had a great Bible study last night, and I wanted to make another video just to show you another tool of something we talked about last night. So we're reading Acts chapter 12, and I want to highlight this passage of Scripture that's verses 13 through 15, where it says, Peter knocked at the outer entrance. This is after he's released from prison. A servant named Rhoda came to answer the door. When she recognized Peter's voice, she was so overjoyed she ran back without opening it and exclaimed, "Peter is at the door." "You're out of your mind," they told her. When she kept insisting that it was so, they said, "It must be his angel." Now this is the question we had, was what in the world does it mean when they say it must be his angel? And the immediate first question that came up was, does that mean he has a guardian angel? Do we all have guardian angels? What's up with this? What's going on? So in Bible study, what we want to do when we read it, when we examine it, we want to ask these questions to help us understand what the text means rather than relying on our assumptions or even past teaching. So when we look at this idea of angels, one of the things that I encouraged y'all to do last night was to use a tool called a concordance. So if you go on over to BibleStudyTools.com, they actually have this feature built in for you. And when you get on the home page like this, if you click on the Study tab, and then you see down about halfway there's a thing that says Concordances. So that's what we want to click on. So what I've already done is in the search bar, I just typed the word angel because that's what we're concerned with. And what a concordance is going to do is it's going to return every example, every time the word angel is mentioned, every commentary on this website that talks about angels. It's going to give you just a ton of information. But the point of this is we want to reference back to another video, another tool, and that's just making lists. So what a concordance is going to do is it's going to compile all of this information into one spot for you. So what I simply did was just click the thing that says Bible verses about angels. And what it does here is it gives you a list of just a bunch of scriptures that mention the word angel or talk about angels in some way. And this is going to be really helpful for you because we have that one verse in Acts chapter 12 that raises the question, and now we have a huge list of other verses that talk about angels as well. And remember, Scripture is the best commentary on Scripture, and Scripture is not going to contradict itself. So, as we interrogate the text, what we want to do is we want to look at all of these verses and start making a list about what we learn about angels, and that's what I want to show you next. So whenever you get a notebook out or a piece of paper or whatever and you're starting to make a list, it's real simple just to make your heading at the top of what it is that you are researching, what you're looking up. So in this case, it's angels. And I'm going to go through just a couple of verses because there's like 170 or something that you could use. I don't want to do all of that just for the sake of time, but I want to get you started on this process. And we'll start in Genesis 2:1. Genesis 2:1 is the first verse on this list, so we're just going to start there, and it simply says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array." So what do we learn about angels there? This is the who, what, where, when, why kind of questions. From that verse, what do we learn? Well, we learn, first of all, that they were completed. Wow, so deep, Sean, right? Like that doesn't really help us much. That's why a list matters. So we're going to go on to the next verse just in this list, and that's Colossians 1:16. And in Colossians 1:16 it reads, "For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him." Now this opens up a lot more, and I'm going to list this out here. So in Colossians 1:16, we see a couple things about angels. We learn that they're first of all created. These are a created being, and they're also part of the invisible realm. There are things that we can't see, but they do exist. And so when you look in this verse, we see in the created part also, it tells us the how and the why. And the how is it was created through Jesus, according to this verse, and the why is it was created for Jesus. So what you see just from these two lists is that angels are created beings. It was complete in Genesis 2. That means more angels aren't being created. When you die, you don't turn into an angel. Heaven doesn't gain other angels. Okay, so we see already just in two verses that angels are a created thing. It's complete, and they're made through the power of Jesus for the purpose of Jesus. Now that doesn't help answer the, is this a guardian angel question or anything like that. But if you continue in the list, if you continue looking in concordances and probing and peeling apart the text and really just reading to try to understand instead of trying to prove a point, then you're going to learn a ton if you start to use this tool. But some of you might be looking at this and thinking concordances are like a dictionary or an encyclopedia. I'm not really a researcher, not whatever. And that can really kind of suck the joy out of Bible study and uncovering the truth of Scripture for some of you. I mean, you might be looking at it as like it's too long, didn't read, so there is another way you can actually do this that's still helpful and might not be as daunting for you. So check this out. If you go back to BibleStudyTools.com and you use that word study feature that I've showed you before, you can click on the word angel from our key verse, Acts 12:15. And then over here on the right side, it shows a verse count where you can see every other part of Scripture that has this same word used. So there's 20 verses in Matthew, 6 in Mark, 25 in Luke. And if that's more your speed, then just do it that way. There's a number of ways you can start to generate the content you need to make a list. But the important thing is that whatever tool you use it to make a list to seek to understand what this might actually mean. Then after you do all of that, that's when you find a commentary or two that we trust, and we look at that to compare what you've come up with and see what other people might have to say about it. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I hope this is something that you continue to use in your own personal study as we seek to teach you how to feed yourself by the time you graduate. Love you guys. Have a great day.